Guys, welcome to Emerald Coast Baseball Academy's podcast. I've got Charlie Calamia here. Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. First of all, I want to thank our sponsor, Born in the Cage. Born in the Cage Apparel. You can check them out at borninthecage.com. Uh, awesome shirts. This is one of the jerseys we wore down in Orlando playing a tournament with these guys. Hopefully, I'll be getting back to them. They've got awesome shirts. We got a brand new line that I've been talking to some of the guys. I'm trying to get a T-shirt design myself in there with them. So we'll have a lot of awesome information on that. Like I said, borninthecage.com. Also, go check out my website and Facebook, emeraldcoastbaseballacademy.com. We got the other podcasts listed on there. Also got some an online store, some information, some instructional videos and stuff on some things. So let's get it started. Charlie, thanks for coming on. You just got back from Italy. We'll start from the beginning. I met you in Santa Fe. We played together. You were my shortstop. You and I connected pretty much from day one. I remember telling you right in spring training, I asked you how many ground balls you wanted, and I think you came back with something like, how strong are you? Something like that. And I
hit?
Yeah, and I said, well, I'll hit till the sun goes down. And he said, all right, sounds good. So, dude, you were probably one of the best shortstops, even considering the field conditions. Because I think we only played on, was there one surface that we played on that was actually easy in the league we played in?
I don't think there was, but at the same time, you don't want to play on those easy fields all the time because then you get into bad habits with all these, nice hops, this and that. So I think it's pretty good to play on those bad fields sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I know in Santa Fe, I don't know how many plays where I was just baffled about your quickness, your ability to get to a ball, and then your ability. If anybody would be in the stands and would be scouting, they might think that you don't have a clue of what you're doing in front of the ball. I remember one time there was a ball at the middle, and I remember right next to second base, because I remember you'd always tell me about watering and where to water. Hey, can you water here? Can you break this spot? And there was a spot on the other side on the shortstop side of second base that was always soft, always soft. And I remember I had gotten a guy to hit a chopper at you, and the ball skipped the grass completely. And you went at it, and you just had your hands up like this, right here. And I was like, what is he doing? And it just took a weird hop, and you caught it and just got rid of it quick. And I was like, wow. I was like, I couldn't even believe that, one, that thought process had even come up, and two, you were able to make the play. So that was outstanding. So what do you think about your experience in Santa Fe? I enjoyed it. Did you have anything that really stood out to you there?
I enjoyed it too. I had a great time. I think a lot of with the team that you're on and how you're going to feel is, how the guys are on the team. I think the guys on the team were awesome. We all got along great. But I had a great time in Santa Fe. The field, I think, could have been a little better. Yeah. But besides that, definitely a great time. Had fun.
Yeah, for everybody that didn't know it, Santa Fe, Bill Moore, who you played for before, we was our manager there, and that field was I would put it up against the smallest professional baseball field in America. That's what I'd put that up with elevation to right field. I mean, I gave up 2 broken bat home runs of that field. I couldn't believe it. I mean,
oh yeah, with the elevation, I mean, I had a few home runs there that. I'd pop it up, put my head down, mumble a few words, go down the line, and it's gone. All right, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the town was an absolutely amazing town. I think they led the league for the 3rd year in a row in attendance, is what I was looking at, and they won the championship there. Some of the guys that we played with came back and played. Kozel, I think he won the MVP. I'm going to try to get him on here. I really, the more and more I'm seeing the Pecos, the more and more it's just, you had some experience before that. I didn't really have a lot, and it is doing a great bit of justice for guys who are getting overlooked and just need a place to play and just try to get their foot in the professional door. You playing all over the place, do you feel like, with that kind of situation that it's better to play in it, just play in general, or just keep trying to chase the affiliated?
Just got to play in general. Any chances you get. My first 3 years, I played in Italy, came back and played in Santa Fe, and I actually just got back from Germany. So, wherever you can get your foot in the door and play, I'd say play.
Yeah, no kidding. I spent this past year in Mexico with Rod Tafoya got me down there, and being down there was it's kind of funny. The Pecos prepared me for anything. Going down to Mexico, people are, are you worried about Mexico? I'm like, no, I'm not, because I played in played in the Pecos League. There's not too much. There's not too much else that you really have to worry about there. It definitely prepared. It's like the mail. I always tell everybody when they ask me about the level of baseball, and I say it's like the mail room of a corporation. You got to start at the bottom, the absolute bottom, and next thing you know, you're the CEO. So you got to work your way up.
Exactly.
So and you just got back from Germany. How'd your team do out there?
We did well. Made it to the championship. We were maybe 32-3 or something going into it, and ended up losing the best out of 5 series. Couple close games, 2-1. All 3 of the games we lost. 1-1, 9-0. But sometimes, the best team doesn't always win.
Yeah.
And I think that was the case right there. But the team we played was good. Good team.
Yeah. Okay. What? So you only played. You said you were 32-3. You played 35 games.
Something like.
How long were you out there?
I was out there since end of March. Last week in March. I think we started first week in April. And, we're just playing on the weekends. Usually Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, or doubleheader Saturday. So usually just 2 games a week. A few times we had 4 games a week. We'll have some midweek games, but you don't play every day.
Wow. So what's the attendance like there? Do you guys get a lot of people come out to the games, or?
I guess it all depends also with weather. During the playoffs, I know the championship games, we got a little over 1,000 people a game. So at our home games, so it wasn't too bad. Some of the away games we weren't getting as many people, nearly as many people. Similar to some of the Pecos League numbers in attendance. But some of the bigger cities, the better teams that are more involved with baseball, you can get a couple hundred people up to 1,000.
Wow. So. All right, that's cool. I mean, it's always good to see baseball expanding. Internationally, baseball is a huge sport. How was the atmosphere in the games? Because in Mexico, and I'll tell you about it in a minute, it was a completely different style of game, and I actually enjoyed it more than I do watching American games. So is there anything crazy that happened there, or was it pretty standard?
It was, for the most part, pretty standard. I'd say the people in the stands probably don't know that much that was going on in the game, a lot of them. Some of them do, because it's a newer thing. We had, I think, a sheet of paper or instructions, whatever. If someone came to the game, they can follow to see what's going on, because it'd be newer. But a lot of the teams had a lot of foreigners on the team, Americans, Venezuelans. So, the guys in the field could play. It's just a matter of people watching the game if they knew what was going on.
Yeah. And you know what? That's probably a good thing, because especially like you, for example, watching you play the game, I'm sure the field conditions are better. Guys like you that are so smooth and have good hands make the game look easy. And to a young kid or maybe a newcomer to the game, they might be like, wow, this game's not very hard, and they might try it and might think otherwise. But that's that. And I'll give you the contrast. When I was in Mexico, man, we had a DJ, we had cheerleaders, we had a mascot. Everything was planned. It was kind of like when you go to a minor league game here in America and they have all those in-between inning things, except for they do it between every inning, and there's a DJ that makes a sound, some kind of, what-oh or sound bite after every pitch. And it home or away, when you're on the road, they try to distract you. The other team does. And, it's a lot, everybody's into everything. You throw a strike, one strike. It's not a golf clap. It's an eruption of, awesome. In Mexico, one of the words is éxito, which is basically like success, kind of. It's like this slang word, and they yell it all the time. When you throw a strike, you win a game, éxito, and they're super pumped about it, and it's one of those cool things to be around where the way America is about football here, that's how the international, especially the Latin community, is about baseball. And to be down there and to be a gringo and everybody just was super excited about, and even our field, believe it or not, we had an all dirt infield, and that field played better than Santa Fe's.
Really?
Yeah, it was interesting.
I was gonna say, is there glass in that field like Santa Fe?
There was because it was a first year team, and the first time we got there, we had to do all kind of calisthenics, a lot more team oriented stuff. And I remember laying down like the first day and just huge rock, didn't even see it, right out in the outfield. And it was so funny. One of the American guys that came down there with me used to joke around all the time, going, "Hey, you think we can drag the outfield one time?" It's just funny little phrases like that. But they took care of it very nicely. It's just a different thing. I mean, the mound played fine, and I had a luxury of playing with a couple different shortstops. One of them was a Cuban guy who was AAA with the Yankees. Reminded me a lot of you, left-handed hitter. Real smooth guy, made every play, didn't really complain about much, and he was kind of a vocal guy like yourself too, whereas just give me the ball, and
Yeah.
So I remember that you and you'd see me get frustrated sometimes with a Santa Fe hit or something like that, and you would just have him hit the ball to me, and I'm all right, I'll do what I can
On the ground.
Yeah, just on the ground right at me. So awesome. So Germany was a success.
Yeah.
Any future teams? You gonna try to keep it international, or what you gonna try to do?
I'm not tied down to anything right now. I'm pretty open. Still early. I just got back, so actually not even a week ago. So I'm pretty much open for whatever. I just want to keep playing.
Awesome. Yeah, that's one of the things our former teammate Bryson Sims had put out there, and definitely is something that I believe in too. Is you just don't stop playing, because I'm definitely in the thought of, even with with your expertise in lifting and baseball stuff like that, is once you stop, you're done. That's definitely what I've seen is for guys that I've seen that have stopped and try to make a comeback or something like that. It just never works out. So you just can't stop getting better. Once you stop, that's when I think I'll know for sure. Don't tell the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you, is there anything that any coaches out there in Germany, did you tell a difference in style of coaching between here in America and then over there, or even in Italy? Anything different that they profess out there, or is it pretty much the same?
Not a whole lot. Our coach in Germany was pretty good. He played in the bigs actually as a pitcher, Mike Hartley. So he was pretty good. He knew his stuff. He was a pitcher. Italy, we had an Italian coach. He's always open. He's always asking me questions. Hey, what should we do for this? What should we do for that? He was more of he knew the game, but he wanted to learn. But I'd say that baseball is baseball. It's all very similar. Maybe a little more small ball out there. I'm not a big guy, so in Santa Fe I'll be bunting. Germany I'll be bunting. When I was in Italy, I was more the bigger hitter, so I don't think I'd put down a bunt in 3 years when I was out there. So that was strange to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you were definitely a guy that would. I always felt like at any given moment, you always had perfect timing on either attempting a drag bunt or laying it down. Is there anything strategy-wise, hitting, especially when you're talking about drag or anything, that you look for maybe to disrupt the pitcher or anything when you're up there with your approach?
No, I just try to take it, make it basic, real simple. Just try not to move too much. Because if you start trying to maybe mess them up, you might start messing yourself up. So I just go down to fundamentals, just take it easy, just try to do what I can control.
Gotcha. All right. Is there now we played for Bill Moore, and maybe I'm sure he has some phrase in there that you probably have latched onto. I know I've got a couple of awesome Bill Moore-isms. Is there anything you can think of that a coach has given to you? Any advice that stuck with you over the years?
Yeah, there's one phrase. I don't remember exactly word for word how it was, but I remember a coach told me a while ago, when you're hitting, you don't want to see how, you don't want to think how far you're going to hit the ball. You want to think how hard you're going to hit the ball. Because if you hit the ball hard, it's going to go far. It's going to get the job done, So I see people always, just taking massive hacks, seeing how far they can hit the ball, but you want to, see how hard you can hit it because you hit it hard, it's going to go far.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the coaches that told me years ago that stuck with me and that I use all the time.
Awesome, awesome. Is there anything in your two-strike approach? I know Bryson was talking about utilizing his speed. Is there anything that you're trying to do in your two-strike approach as opposed to your early in the count approach?
Yeah, for sure. I'm more of an open stance hitter kind of guy. And when I get 2 strikes, I close up. I learned this in junior college. I close up. I'm pretty much almost fully loaded, but not too loaded, and I just try to put the ball in play. I tell myself, I'll take a step out of the box, take my helmet off, look at it, think. I'll clear my head, and I'll be like, there's no way this guy's getting me out. There's no way you're getting me out. Focus a little harder, shorten up, and I just try to do what I can do. Try not to do too much.
Gotcha. Awesome, awesome. So I've heard different strategies for guys with 0-0 counts. When you step into a box, let's say you're facing a low 90s guy, that's let's say you're facing the ace, for example. What exactly is your strategy getting in maybe your first at bat, and does it change through the game at all, or do you try to keep the same approach, or what are you trying to do out there?
I try to keep my same approach. Sometimes you might need to switch it a little bit depending on how you do each at bat. I sit on one pitch. So, until I get it. So if it's 0-0, I'm sitting, let's say I might be sitting middle inside fastball. If I get it, I'm going to rope it. If he throws an outside fastball, I might take it because, maybe I'm cheating a little bit because I'm sitting on the inside pitch, this and that. I want to make sure I'm going to hit it. But let's say he does throw an outside pitch for a strike. Now I think differently. Okay, let me try to get a pitch I can hit, a pitch I can drive. But until I get a strike on me, I sit one pitch and I try to get a pitch I can drive. But it also depends on the situation of what you need to do. If I'm a leadoff guy on, trying to get a pitch I can drive, maybe get on base, try to work something, runner on second, runner on third. You got to do obviously different things.
Yeah, that's awesome because that's one of the things that I'm constantly when I'm doing lessons is and looking at I always try to pay attention to the guys that do the things the best or have the most success or I feel like have a really good work ethic. And fortunately you saw me in Santa Fe, I was able to I got to hit as the National League rules and I would always pay attention. A lot of people would just go out there and pitchers just hack and everything and I would have a little bit different approach as a pitcher as opposed to a leadoff guy. I wanted the guy to spend as many pitches as he could against me. And for you, it sounds like, swinging first pitch isn't necessarily a bad thing. Can you go over, because I've heard many different philosophies over first pitch swingers, and I even know some guys that it's almost like Hanley Ramirez, where you are actually better off statistically to not throw a first pitch strike against these guys than to throw or even a first pitch hittable pitch. So,
yeah.
Any words on first pitches?
I know a lot of people, if you're a leadoff hitter, you want to see the guy take pitches, which I can see that also. But I also have, or I think, my philosophy is, as a pitcher, I think most of them are trying to get first pitch over strike, usually fastball. So why not as a hitter, okay, if it's right there, why not hit it? Why not start the game off? You might get something going right away. Obviously, if you get out right away, it doesn't look that great. But if you do get on base, right away, runner on base, you got 2-hole hitter up. Some things could happen. So it could backfire, it could go either way. But I'm a guy, if it's right there, swing, hit it until you prove that you're getting out every single time you're swinging at this pitch. But I think if it's there, swing.
Yeah, you're definitely trying to hit the ball, not watch it. I heard a coach say that to a guy one time, and I always thought that was funny. You hear in the Latin community all the time, you can't swing your way out of here, or I'm sorry, you can't walk your way out of here. You got to, and you see guys swing and that's the point of the game is to swing. And as my job as a pitcher, it's to make you to swing at a pitch that may deceive you a little bit or be just a little bit out of your reach, so with the first pitch swings, let's take it through a quick situation. Let's say we got bases loaded, no outs, and then bases loaded, 2 outs. If there's a first pitch, and let's say it is an inside fastball. Is there a difference between with two outs or no outs, or are you going to be a little more conservative in one stance, or a little less in another?
No, for me, I don't think so. Because if it's the one pitch you're sitting on, I mean, that should be a pitch you should be able to drive into the outfield. You know, with two outs or one out, or maybe if it's bases loaded, no outs. You know, get a pitch you can drive like that. You know, if sitting inside fastball, you should be able to hit that. You know, a professional player or even a young kid, you know, you should be able to do something with a pitch and make something happen. I think if you're sitting on the pitch that you like, the pitch that you can hit, because that's what you're sitting on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's say, all right, I like this idea of the pitch that you like, the one you're looking for. I think too much. You hear coaches that, they give kids too many options. Where it's like, well, if it's a pitcher sitting in and it's fastball inside, turn on. Well, but if he hangs a curveball, then get up there and hit that. Well, you know what? But then again, if he does throw a fastball away, then you have to go with it. And I think when you make it simple, like you're saying, and a lot of people, if you go look at statistics, and as you get deeper into games and higher level of baseball, they start recording way more stats. And
Yeah.
I'd say that 60% of the time, guys are throwing fastballs easy out of their pitches. So you going out and looking for a fastball in one spot, and if you don't get it, maybe tipping your hat to him. Later on in the game, the information you're building from that is kind of like what I'm doing in the opposite thing. If I throw a fastball away first pitch and a guy takes it, I can almost go, okay, I didn't throw that to what he was looking for. And if you do swing at the fastball away, if you get a hit, I can almost tell if you did it on purpose. If you get a hit and you drive the fastball away to the four hole, or you hit a double in right center, I go, okay, he was sitting on that. I
Yeah.
need to adjust my plan. But let's say it's fastball away, you hit it and you hit a ground ball to the shortstop, which I'd say 90% of the time that happens. If you try to pull an outside fastball and you're thinking middle in, which is a pull pitch, and you get it middle away, you're going to hit a ground ball shortstop. That's one of my favorite things to do is throw the hard fastball, two seam or a cutter away to a guy, watch him just roll over and hit ground balls to Charlie Calamia all day.
All day. Yeah,
So
no, I agree. You know, you can tell, and even a hitter knows. You know, if you throw an outside fastball, and we try to pull, we get a flare hit here or there. You know, yeah, that wasn't what I was looking for. We got a little lucky. So I would actually probably sit if I did that the first pitch, rolled over an outside fastball, found a hole. I'd probably sit outside fastball again, except maybe I'll keep my shoulder closed a little more and actually work a little harder on driving it. That'd be the pitch I'd be sitting on as the outside fastball. So necessarily, I won't be sitting on inside fastball this pitch. If I get the inside fastball, I'm going to take it.
yeah.
It's a strike because I'm cheating a little that way. You know, I'm getting a pitch I can drive.
And
So
you being a
that's what I
littler
do.
guy, I think that it's for me personally. I think if I'm getting in, and let's say I've never faced you before, most little guys, I wouldn't actually say that they're normally not seeing inside fastball first pitch. So I might even play that into your hand. I might throw a little bit more of a two seamer to try to get some run on it. Maybe if you do pull it, maybe you'll pull it foul. But that's an interesting strategy, and that's what, there's 1,000 different ways to play this game. And then there's also another 1,000 different ways to play inside the game within the game, which is that battle between, hitter and pitcher. Awesome. Okay. So let's say, and one of the other things, I remember you and one of your roommate, Barnett, all you guys always trying to figure out was what the pitcher's out pitch was, or what his, could you figure out his strategy as far as what he was trying to do? And I don't see this a lot at a younger level, and I wish we saw a lot of kids, even in the high school ranks, you see them worried about mom and dad or girlfriends in the stands or whatever. But I remember one instance to where you were up, and I think you possibly had chased a slider or a splitter down or something, and Barnett was behind you, and it was like a three-pitch at bat. And the guy was throwing hard. I remember it was like, I want to say it was like, for example, I think it was like a fastball inside. You hooked it foul. You fouled the second one off, maybe a fastball away, and then maybe it was like a splitter down. It was just a late, nasty pitch, and he got you and threw out, and you took a couple steps. The guy threw you out, and on the way back to the dugout, Barnett waited for you, and he asked you if he went in, out, and then split, and you were like, yeah, something like that. And I remember the guy went up, or Barnett had gone up, and the first pitch, he threw the exact same sequence. And he threw in, Barnett took it, he threw out, Barnett took it, it was 0-2, then he went split down. And then so right after that, he tried to come back in, Barnett ripped a double down the line, and he came in and he had told everybody in dugout, hey, he's pretty easy on his sequences. It looks like it's hard, hard, slow, or hard, hard out pitch. And we went out, and this guy that was throwing, I remember this guy was throwing cheese. I think he was like 94, 95. And we knocked this guy around, and we got him out in the fourth inning. Like, he didn't even make it out of the fourth. And I started watching and going, that's the kind of communication as a team where you don't even, that's what I liked about our team. We didn't even need our head coach to even go over there. It was like everybody was just sharing information like nothing. And when you see teams that do share the information, they go, okay, he was throwing 2 in and 4 away, or 4 away, or 2 away and 4 in. All that information that was thrown out there from you guys, it was impressive to see. Is that something that you try to, even over in Germany, where you're trying to, when did you start, you guys trying to pick that kind of stuff up?
Communication's big. Especially I think as a pitcher, you might pitch, I'm sure you pitch righties different than you pitch lefties.
Yeah.
And I also believe, you pitch maybe the bigger guys a little bit different than maybe the smaller guys, depending on also how they do their at-bats. So what I also I try to do is, usually there's someone in the lineup that's a pretty similar hitter to you. Maybe, they're quick like you, they got a little bit of pop, this and that. And so basically that's like you going up to bat too, except you can watch yourself. You can see what they do, and they're hitting before you, you can be like, hey, what's going on? What do they throw you, just like you were talking about. It's always good. I think probably when I was in college was probably, the earliest when I've seen that we did it. High school, not as much. Some high schools, are good high schools. You guys can do that, but the high school I was at wasn't that great. So, college was pretty much when we started doing that big. Talking, communicating, be like, hey, what did he throw? Start paying attention, pitch sequence. Was, first pitch that fastball in or out? This and that. But that's probably when I picked it up earliest.
So in college, now did anybody tell you to start doing that, or was it possibly, an older guy or maybe a coach that was, because I hear it all the time, even down here in high school, you hear, pay attention, pick something up with the pitcher, but you never hear the communication side where it's almost, you have all 9 guys in the lineup really trying to work together to get an edge,
Yeah, well, I hear it. I heard it when I was younger, but a lot of times you hear things as a kid and you don't really understand what they're talking about. You might yes them, just because you're afraid to ask, like, what's he talking about? I don't want to sound dumb. But I heard it, but I not necessarily, knew exactly what I knew now, how I should be doing it. It's always pay attention, watch what he's doing. You guys should be talking to each other. Like, well, talking to each other about what? So, but definitely at a younger age, I did do it. But college is when I'd say, almost more mastered of what was going on, of how I should be going around every at bat and this and that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So that's good stuff. Now, is there any sequences that you feel like, for you, that are there any pitches that you feel like are hard to grasp or anything like that, or have you run over so many sequences over the years that it's almost like a poker hand? Can you kind of tell how the percentages and what pitches are going to come out?
You can. I think it depends also on how bad you look at a pitch. It's like I said, when I sit first pitch fastball or whatever I'm sitting, sometimes I'll sit first pitch curveball if I didn't look very good in maybe my previous 2 at bats. I'm like, okay, I didn't look that good. I'm going to sit first pitch curveball because he's probably going to throw it, and I'm going to be ready for it. So it's almost like a gamble. It's like a guessing game. Hopefully you guess right. Usually off speed or fastball. So you usually have a 50-50 chance of, hard or slow, and then you got to guess in or out usually.
Yeah.
But if you get it, don't miss it.
Yeah, I got you.
But you have to learn from your at-bats before. So if I had some good at-bats where I've hit some fastballs early in the count, maybe I still sit fastball. Maybe he thinks, okay, there's no way he's going to hit, 3 fastballs in a row in the same spot, this and that. Or maybe I'm going to look off speed. Maybe I'll look changeup or something. But definitely learn from your at-bats before. If you look bad on off speed earlier in your at-bats, sit off speed because he's probably going to throw it.
But, gotcha. And do you think that the difference because you're right-hander, the difference of right-handed pitcher and left-handed pitcher, that can also affect possibly how you're going about it?
Yeah. When I face a lefty, I think, more of more fastball changeup. As a righty, it's whatever, balls that move away are harder to hit. The lefty curve comes right into you, and it's a little easier to see. So I don't really sit curve as much unless has a good sharp curve. But definitely righty, I think more fastball curveball than lefty fastball.
Okay, awesome. Okay. That's some good sequence hitting stuff. That's the stuff that that's really the part of the game that I enjoy is throwing things that look like other things, and there's some real specific pitches. I always think about Greg Maddux and growing up they used very general terms, and now you have announcers these days that specifically pick things out. Unfortunately, with how long in between pitches and games are, you can totally see how the youth of America get distracted, in watching baseball games. And I wish they could do something about it. Playing in a couple tournaments in college and even afterwards, I think they might have something with this shot clock. I don't know. I think the Atlantic League tried it this year, trying to speed up the game where guys had to be in the box, in the batter's box, from a certain time. You had to throw a pitch. Or at least start your delivery within a certain time frame. Otherwise, it was a ball or strike, and guys were penalized. But I remember growing up and seeing Maddux, and they would just say fastball, for example, and the thing would just nasty two-seam come all the way back, and they'd say fastball again, and it actually would be more of a cutter, even inside from a righty. And those pitches, I feel like, if you can stay out of the middle of the plate, which is where you practice hitting the ball, that's the danger zone. And staying on the edges, I believe, is in changing speeds, like we were saying, is probably one of the best things that you can do with a pitcher. And I know it makes it a lot harder for you. If you got a guy that's painting on both sides of the plate and changing speeds on both sides of the plate is definitely something that I know I try to do, and I've seen a lot of success. And that's where you get, you might chase something down or chase, a bad pitch. So awesome. Let's move on. I wanted to talk to you about how did you get so dang good at fielding? How did you get your hands so quick? Literally, like I said, I've never seen a guy, especially from the beginning. I remember hitting ground balls and being like, I hope he can figure this out. Me being a second-year player on that team, that field had to have helped you for the rest of your career. Is there any drills or anything that you try to concentrate on, or anything that really made you any kind of phrases or anything that helped you over the years?
Just repetition, and good repetition, because it doesn't matter how many times you do something. If you're doing it in the wrong form, that's not going to do anything for you. It's even in the gym or whatnot. So every ground ball I always played it as like a game situation. I'd start off, feeling it normal, and but most of the time, when I practice fielding ground balls, I'd have in my head, all right, this guy's the fastest guy in the world. I got to get rid of this. I got to see how fast I can get rid of it. Yeah. You got to see how fast your body can do something, under control. So like try to get rid of it as fast as I can, and sometimes I'd be like, okay, that's too fast. I got to slow it down a little bit. You got to know your limits. And every ground ball I fielded, even in practice, I treat it like a game situation. Even if there's obviously no one running, if it's just me and you, you hitting at me, there's no one else in the field, I'd field it. And if I'm not throwing it, I'd still get the arm up and get my body in the right throwing position just to get, muscle memory down. So, but just repetition. That's huge.
Repetition. Yeah. Speaking of that, you made 3 plays in the All-Star game that reminded me, and I wanted to talk to you about this too. You would get rid of the ball so quick, especially that play in the hole. You would backhand it, and you had figured out how to not throw the ball on a line. And I was always baffled because you were 100% accurate. And I remember one time, even in practice, seeing you do it. It almost looks like you have a spot that's away from you up, that you throw it to that spot that is in line with the first baseman, that the ball is going to fall to. You see that in the bigs all the time. I mean, then again, you got freaks like Anderson Simmons. I don't know if you saw a couple weeks ago, he made that Derek Jeter jump throw. But you do see it where guys have, okay, I know I can throw this at 75 or 80% or whatever percent you think, and that the ball is going to carry and it's going to come down exactly where I need. Is how did you learn that, and what made you try it?
Uh, you know, I wouldn't say necessarily I started doing it messing around practice, but I don't know. I think sometimes it'll be easier. It's easier to do. I mean, because sometimes by the time you get a ball, if you're running full speed, you have so much weight going towards the hole that by the time you stop this and that, you get rid of it. The guy could already be there. So I wouldn't say master, but I think I came pretty close. When I feel the ground ball in the hole, there's the same angle that I throw out of every time. So it's almost when I practice throwing, I gotta throw it out of this angle, this side angle, because I know exactly how much I need to put on the throw, who's running. Obviously, if he's a little faster, I need to throw it a little harder. If he's a little slower, I'll still run up and do the jump throw, but I don't need to throw it as hard. I can take a little less off of it. Know that's going to be a little more accurate. But just practice. Even when you're playing catch with a partner, you always want to work on quick hands, whatnot. Work on taking a few steps running and throwing off balance.
Yeah.
Throwing to your right, backhand each way, and that helps.
You made a play. Speaking of that backhand, you made a play, and I saw a video of it, and I remember you and I were talking about it. And it was the backhand in the hole, but you went down with both hands, and you backhanded it, and then threw it. You fielded it and got rid of it as quick as you can, and it looked like a rainbow throw. It really did. And you threw it, and it just went up, and then it came down and hit and you had gotten rid of it so fast. And I said, how did you even think to do that? And you said, man, I practiced that 1,000 times over, where I'm not trying to plant there. I'm trying to, how quickly can I get rid of it? And obviously you tumble at the end, but that was one of the things, planting and throwing. And I guess you could say there is a time to plant and throw, but and that comes with the territory. But if you practice, like you're saying, like there's a fast runner every time, it's a whole different story of getting rid of it. So that's awesome stuff. So we got repetition, we got treat at game speed, we got to treat like a fast runner's there. Is there anything else, any advice for middle infielders that you want to throw out there?
There's not a whole lot. Just repetition. Treat the game like, in practice, like, everyone's watching. Even if it's just you two, you never know who's watching you. There could be someone behind a tree watching you, scouting you. Who knows? Treat it like everyone's watching you, that everyone's there, and just don't go to the field, messing around. That I'm with my buddy, this and that. Take some pride, and because you never know who's watching. Coach could roll in this and that, and you never know.
Yeah, I've heard some scouts these days that actually go to. Some of them are going to practices and staying in their car. They know that they can see the field from it. And I thought that was a pretty incognito good move if you were going to go scout a game, or if you had if you were in the area. Nowadays, scouts have to cover such big areas and move all over the place that if they pass through an area and they can see something, it's an interesting situation. So, all right, well that's awesome stuff. What about you got any advice for any young guys? Let's say some youth coming up, of just anything that you'd like to pass along?
I'm a big guy in nutrition, and I wish I would have known a lot of this when I was younger, in the high school days. And you see a lot of kids now drinking a lot of soda, eating a lot of unhealthy foods. I think what you put in your body, it'll make you stronger, makes you faster. And I wish I would have known that when I was a little younger, But just try to eat a little healthier when you can. Not always. You're a kid, you're a person. We all got to live. We got to eat that pizza, that cheeseburger still. But maybe not as much, But eating a little healthier, drinking a little healthy, I think that helps in baseball a lot, because that'll help in the gym. And, what you do in the gym obviously helps what you do in the field. So that's what I think.
I had a guy on the podcast recently, big bodybuilder, and a lot of these kids into shortcuts and this and that, and he was talking about the food side, like we were saying, and saying that one of the best ways, if you really can think about it, and people are into these video games and leveling up and this and that, and he had made a reference of the quickest way you can level up is by putting that high octane food. If you, in leveling up is basically becoming stronger or adding a plate to something, or the the more healthy or the more nutritious the food you have, the quicker you can add weight to something and get even stronger. And I'm with you. I wish I would have known better, and that, that's one of the reasons I want to put this out there. I want the parents as well as the kids, because they're the ones ultimately that can influence,
Yeah,
more, especially at a younger age. Is
exactly.
can you educate both parties and create a team? I see a lot of guys when I'm doing lessons that the dad, is so hard on the son, but it's because the dad cares just as much as the son does, but the son thinks it's not cool or this. And I wish that they would go into it as a team situation. Fortunately, my dad and I, he taught me how to pitch pretty much by watching Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. And hey, he hadn't really played baseball that much, but it was like, well, these guys are doing something right, And he had there's something that I look at now, and I feel like the guys that do things the best way do it for the longest amount of time. You got a lot of these guys coming throwing 100 miles an hour, and they're in and out. They're in and out. But you look at the guys, for example, I don't know if you know this, Josh Beckett never had a major arm surgery ever, and he's a constant throw guy. You got guy, you really don't see a Cal Ripken these days, where guys are going out and playing through the pain and playing every day. You were a guy that rarely wanted an off day, or as a matter of fact, I remember a situation where you thought you were going to have an off day, and our manager changed his mind on you, and so it's one of those situations where I think, and that's where the fuel comes in and eating the right stuff.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of one of your favorite nutritious meals? What you're putting in it.
I ate a lot of eggs, just based mostly egg whites, a few egg yolks for breakfast. I ate a lot of chicken, a lot of lean meat, vegetables, huge. I'm big on fruit. Just pretty much high things that are low in fat. Maybe sometimes I need a little more calories, but healthy calories. Lower in sugars, but just pretty much just anything that's not too bad for you. Nothing that's fried. Pretty much anything that's not fried, I'll eat.
Anything that's not fried. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good stuff. All right, man. Well, look, I think it's been real informative. Like I was telling you before, I hope to, if I get out to Arizona, hopefully we can get up and maybe do this again, and
Yeah.
possibly even do some informative stuff. Maybe even do some ground ball stuff. People can see what you're doing. It's always a pleasure to watch you play the game, and
Thanks, man.
I always appreciate people that go out and work on their craft every day. I've always respected that, no matter what the situation, whether it's baseball or not. Now, you and I have kept in contact, even being you being in Germany, I being in Mexico. I always thought I talked to Bill, and Bill's like, what are you guys doing? And you guys leaving America, and sometimes you got to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's where the game is played, and if you find an opportunity, go. So I appreciate having you on. Are you doing any lessons out in Arizona or anything, or?
Not a whole lot. I got a younger brother that's 15, so I'll go to the field with his friends every now and then and help them out. But no exact lessons yet. But I give a little free coaching here and there.
Okay. Well, if there's anybody in the Arizona area, how can people get a hold of you if they want to contact anymore?
Find me on Facebook, Charlie Calamia. That's the best. That's the best way.
Awesome. Well, and for everybody out there, if you ever get a chance, if you get close enough to get Charlie Calamia's Snapchat, it's absolutely stellar. It's filled with a lot of. You're a big pre-workout guy, right? I remember one
Yeah.
instance you got a brand new flavor of pre-workout, and that was pretty exciting for you.
You got to take time off the pre-workout also.
I lost you there for a second. One more time.
I said I'm big on the pre-workout, but you got to take time off the pre-workout too. But that new flavor, I remember that snap. I was really excited. It was watermelon, tastes like a Jolly Rancher, and I was ready to go.
Awesome. That's good stuff. Well, for everybody at home, get better every day. Try to beat yesterday, and eat right. That's from me and Charlie. That seems to be a running theme between everybody. And try to limit your fried foods and get in the gym, get stronger. try to level up your strength and your fielding and your hitting, and try to become a student of the game. That's one of the big reasons we're putting this out there. So, Charlie, I appreciate it. Like I said, hopefully I'll get to see you soon, man. And
Yeah.
good luck to you. Enjoy your time off. Get recovering from your long summer over there in Germany.
I'll try. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy.